Good morning, good noon, good evening, whatever time and place you're listening to us from. Straight from the 909. It's Mark, Ali, myself, Isaiah, and together, that's Hip-Hop. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Today we're talking about Cali's own, King of the Bay, hip-hop superstar, icon, legend, pimp master, short dog, bitch! My mom's gonna be like, what?
You just gotta say it, man. You got to.
My mom's in the next room. She'll be like, boy, what?
Yeah, I thought you guys were describing me at first.
Oh, is that what you thought?
I thought, oh man.
Well, you know, maybe lowercase P. Too Short. Emerging from Oakland, California, he played a pivotal role in putting the West Coast on the map in the 1980s. 1980s.
Yeah.
I was asking these guys, like, who came out before Too Short?
Not many.
It's a short list.
Yep.
A short list. We're talking about Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah.
Grandmaster Flash.
It's in the same time context as AD and BC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly like that.
Like, who's been in the game that long?
Yeah.
Like, before it was even called hip-hop, probably.
Like Copernicus, Da Vinci,
Too
Short.
I mean, this guy, it was so early. I mean, that's how he got started in the game, is he got offered to open up for UTFO, right? So, I mean, that alone shows you, like, it was so early in the game. There was just, like, nobody really doing it like that.
With that kind of opportunity, it makes Too Short, it actually puts him in rarefied air because now he has the early experience to actually get his footing in early and to blossom a little bit sooner than a lot of other people on the West Coast. And he honestly almost has a whole decade on most of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Definitely.
That's crazy. What was I going to say about Too Short? He came up in a very exciting time. A time when you would hear like Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight, super dope. But then you would start to hear like tracks every other week or so from New York. Like, oh, what's this? And this was completely new. Hip hop really didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
And so like, this is an exciting time because this is when like you're starting to like hear word of mouth, like, oh, what's that? And you're starting to kind of figure out, I could do that. And like that whole time of Too Short is legendary. Legendary. We're talking about a time when like they were like, you know, hip hop probably wasn't even on the radio this early, I'm saying. A lot of it, I mean.
Most of it wasn't.
Yeah.
They would play it like late at night in some stations in New York, but like
it was very
all day,
very underground. Like the only way you could probably get your hands on a Too Short cassette, like you have to literally buy it from his hand out of the trunk.
Yeah, exactly. That's how he was selling his first couple albums.
And people would make copies of those cassette tapes, pass it around, word of mouth. Have you heard Too Short? Like, it's just a cool era to really like come out of.
Yeah.
Too Short is that legendary. Like, he literally hustling in Oakland, laying it down and making a name for himself and doing it different than anybody else we've heard.
Right.
Shows props to his marketing because if it's going to be the hand-to-hand transaction of the actual artist giving the product to the customer, that means a lot has to go down before the transaction starts. It's like, yeah, I heard you. I think you're dope. Right. Let me buy your album. Or someone else told me you're dope. I agree with them. Let me buy your album. Yeah. A lot of factors have to come into play before the money transaction comes through.
And then picture you're making music for the dope dealers. These guys are the dealers, but he's dealing to the dealers.
Yep, they were his first customers.
Like, you know, he's higher in the food chain in that aspect. Like, that's even sick.
He gave them a soundtrack.
Gave them a soundtrack. That was a soundtrack to live by.
To what they were doing. He gave them a soundtrack because that's basically all Too Short was doing, was just rapping about what he saw every day.
Dude, we're talking about like no hooks. Like early Too Short, just rap.
Rapping. I mean, we're talking 5-minute songs of just
even longer, 10-minute
10-minute just rapping.
15 minutes.
Yep.
Like he was just vibing, like letting the beat ride. And it even hits you like there's no chorus, there's no hook. You can't even notice.
I mean, honestly,
it's such a vibe.
The almost poetic justice of his career. His first album is called Don't Stop Rapping.
Right.
That's the name of his first album.
Beautiful.
And we're talking 40 years later.
Right.
He's still touring. He just dropped his last project like 2 years ago.
Very prophetic.
Mount Westmore with Ice Cube, Snoop, and E40.
Right.
So that dropped in 2022.
And when you think about it, he's the OG of those guys.
Yes.
Those guys are already OGs.
They're OGs.
He's their OG.
Their OG. Crazy.
That's a very capital G right there.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
He's your OG's OG.
What I also like about Too Short is like, you know, like he came to LA and it's a big what if. Like, what if Too Short would have been as big, but here in LA? Like, I don't know how that would have rolled out. But I think what's dope is that he didn't actually start penning or rhyming until he got to Oakland.
Correct.
Because Oakland was so like inspiring to him, I guess, or, you know, just that cool of a place that he just like got his feet off the ground because of Oakland. Like, that in itself is dope. Always giving them shout outs, no matter where he's at, always shouting out Oakland. And it's one of those things. It's one of those like Ray Charles relationships with Georgia kind of situations, you know, because he got kicked out, like not kicked out, but they were pressuring him to leave Oakland because of his vulgar lyrics and everything at a certain point. Pressure him to get out. But like, he's like still their main, like, he's the king of band.
Yeah, he was the front runner.
When you think Oakland hip hop,
Too
Too Short's the first name you're gonna think of.
First name.
He's the guy.
Yeah. So even that is dope. We're talking about his 10th studio album, Gettin It, released May 21st, 1996 via Jive Records, making it his 7th album on the label. This was his final album.
It was supposed to be his last album.
Before going on a brief career hiatus.
This guy's like the Terry Funk of hip hop.
He was the first rapper to actually like put out retirement.
Right.
Like before Jay-Z did it, Too Short did that first.
And I like his, you know, theory behind it, because he would say, oh, you know, I threw out that retirement word because I'm not going to rap for the same amount of money anymore. I want the big, like, you're going to have to pay me to rap again. Like, the business mentality of that.
He was doing retirement albums before Jay-Z ran that gimmick.
Yeah. And then also with this album, it was controversial at the time because there's a lot of themes of sex, partying, hustling, and life in the inner city. And then what I was going to say is that the producers on this feature, that's the thing that's cool too, the Dangerous Crew. He has like a live band that has been working with him, putting out these albums. Multiple platinum albums. Yep. Which is also another thing to mention.
Yeah, absolutely. Separates them from a lot
of cats. Like, I think it was 6. It could be even more than that, but I think it was 6, and then like 4 gold or something like that. This album it topped at 5 in the Billboard 200.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Especially in the 90s.
Yeah.
While becoming the third number one album on the artist, third number one album
hip hop R&B
on the top R&B album charts. This album's production and lyrical content reflect the domination of gangster rap and G-funk through the West Coast, because this album actually kind of strays a little bit from Too Short's normal like sex and pimping themes. Singles on this were Gettin It. That was it on this one. Producers L.A. Dre, Ant Banks, Colin Wolfe, MC Breed. I didn't know he produced beats. Shorty B, and Spearhead X. The length on this album, 65 minutes and 54 seconds.
It's kind of normal for back then.
Yeah. Yeah. So much to say about this dude, though. So dope. Like, I think Too Short's one of those guys for a long time. He's one of those guys that was, I feel like he was underrated.
Oh, for sure.
For a long time. I don't feel like, you know, I just feel like not enough people like praise him as high as some other rappers, and he deserves all that praise, because Too Short, style, delivery, everything about this dude, the business acumen, the authenticity, all of it's dope. You know?
You had a point that you brought to our attention off air, Isaiah, and I kind of want to make sure that we do this early in the show. But
yes, go ahead.
There's a certain, well, no, it's for you on this one, but you mentioned that to a certain extent that there's no certain era without Too Short.
Yeah.
And this certain era was popularized in the early 2000s.
Right. Yeah. So many MCs that we could say have been influenced by Too Short. I'll start with the big one, Snoop Dogg.
For sure.
Big one. And Snoop Dogg, for a lot of people, is the OG.
The big one.
Yep.
That's the West Coast
He's
big one.
the guy everybody looked at.
Yeah. But when we talk about pimping, when we talk about that,
California street life.
Yeah. Even Snoop, even on the Chronic, or I believe it's the Chronic, or maybe Dog Style. One of the lines somewhere, he goes, "Biatch," like Snoop even does it.
He got that from Short.
Yeah.
I mean, Short has influenced. He influenced, like I said. I mean, he's influenced so many artists from Snoop, Pimp C, T.I. I would say is a big, for sure. I mean,
I was saying 2 Live Crew.
For sure. Yes. Absolutely. He started the raunchy kind of nasty stuff first in hip hop, and then, 2 Live Crew took it to
and we could even
another level.
We could even say, I'm gonna drop the bomb.
Go ahead,
we
man.
can even say Diplomats.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. You are putting holes in the New York do-rags, my friend.
They would tell you there's no Dipset without Too Short.
Yeah.
There's no Crunk era.
There's no Crunk without Too Short.
Too Short.
That's the funny thing, dude.
Too Short signed Lil Jon. Lil Jon is the father of Crunk.
Now,
there is no Crunk without literally none.
I want to talk about that, and also Mace is another one that came up. Biggie, Pac, So, but another good thing to mention about that, that was an era when Too Short was getting that pressure. I was saying where he's getting pressured out of Oakland.
Yeah.
So he goes to Atlanta, and
with loving arms.
Because
that is what they were making money on.
And I love this opinion he gave, because he said West Coast was it was on the rise. The West Coast sound, G-Funk, Gangsta, with Pac, leading the charge on that, and Biggie. But he said what happened, the problem with it was when Pac and Biggie passed, everybody was kind of cool off of that gangsta sound. Mm-hmm. It didn't go further beyond West Coast. It kind of stayed on an island. And he said he was watching. What was interesting is he was watching this from afar in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. He's noticing it, and he's noticing the rise of the crunk era, and he's seeing how the West Coast is just getting passed by.
Yep.
And who's there to ride that wave?
Yeah.
The king of the Bay, man.
Too Short.
Yeah.
Yep.
Too Short. Right.
He caught
perfect
it early.
Place at the right time with Lil Jon.
Mm-hmm.
And Lil Jon's like, man, I'm a big fan. He goes, I want to make a beat that's like a throwback. Kind of like if you had a track that was just like you lost it and you just pulled it out and played it.
Make it new again.
Yeah, make it new again. Man, when Too Short came out with Lil Jon on Shake That Monkey, Blow the Whistle, many more tracks too on top of that.
Right.
Like, it's cool to always see an OG be right in his prime with the youngsters, and just kill it.
It's a second life.
Yeah.
We could just plainly put that it's a second life.
Yeah.
You bring up a great point when you mention that the role that crunk music had to take was only because that there was a power vacuum of missing hits from the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if there's an influx of West Coast hits, we're not going to hear stuff. We're not going to hear stuff from ATL that stays on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen.
Void.
There was a void that needed to be filled, and what better way to do it than we'll just move this over here and play it loud because Too Short's on the joint.
Yeah. I mean, Too Short. I mean, the thing is, he's so legendary, man. I mean, the dude basically put Kid Rock on. The dude, he's done songs. He's one of the few. He's done songs with pretty much everyone in hip hop that you consider great.
Yeah.
I mean, we talking Pac, Big, Jay-Z,
Lil
Kim. Anyone you think is a legend for the most part, Too Short has done songs with them. Like, not many people can say they did songs with Tupac and Biggie. Yeah. Too Short is one of the few. Scarface, he's worked with all the greats because that's how respected he is. And then on top of all of that, his biggest hit comes out at 40.
Yeah.
He was 40 years old with his biggest record in hip hop. Yeah. In hip hop, that almost never happens. Like it rarely happens in any genre, but especially hip hop.
Who's another artist that you guys could think of that did something similar to that? Like in their older age, still had a hit.
E40.
E40.
Yep.
He's probably keeping it in the Bay. You tell me when to go.
E40,
Nas
Nas.
done it. Yep, Nas has had some. Yep. But it's very few as far as their biggest record.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, of course.
Jay's had some big ones. Yep, yeah. His biggest hit chart wise is Empire State of Mind. He was almost 40. But yeah, really it's
he's in rarefied air because his biggest hits came in his like mid 40s.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
That's rare.
That's the second life that we're talking about with Too Short, where he's hinting at retirement in the mid 90s, but then finds this crazy resurgence in the mid 2000s.
Yep. Right back in the forefront.
Yep. I mean, he even said like the only reason, as far as him, the retirement piece for this album, at first he really just said, well, it's my 10th album and I'm 30 years old. Like, we really hadn't seen
multiple
any
platinum albums.
You know what I
already.
mean?
It's kind of did it all.
He's like, we hadn't seen any 30-year-old rappers really.
Like a Jordan. Like,
seriously. Like, no, seriously. On the same. Like I've kind of done everything. I'm 30 years old. There really weren't any 30-year-old rappers popping at the time, and not many rappers could say they had 10 albums already.
Right.
So he's like, he just felt 10 albums, 30 years old.
And now his whole thing is just going on and
on and on, literally.
But the thing is that how can he last so long?
He must have superpowers.
How many hours?
How many hours?
25,000
He actually
hours.
calculated the hours.
Who's done the math?
Get a calculator. Do the math. They made 1,000 songs to make you move your ass.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, honestly, even just that breakdown was brilliant.
You know the thing about let's roll into his style. Like one thing I always look for, and I think a lot of other like MCs look for, is lyrical ability. Do you have the lyrical aspect? Are you spitting bars like Biggie or Nas? Are you very like, just like kung fu with it? And what I've learned, as I've grown up and matured and stuff, like it's not always about that. In this case, what I get out of Too Short is just he is so unfiltered, so raw and authentic that hits. And his style, very unique. Like the sound of his voice and his style, he doesn't have to like change up his style with any beat. He stays the same in his lane, and it works
all the time.
I've heard tracks with him and Biggie, 2 different styles.
Yep.
Biggie kills it. The Hemi in my system and all this stuff. Kills the beat.
Yep.
One of those legendariest verses.
Great verse.
Too Short comes on, kills it.
I've seen a whole lot
I feel
of
like
lifetime.
it's even slightly better than Biggie's.
Well, it's because of the subject matter too.
Right,
The song is called The World is Filled with Pimps and Hoes.
It's his
And Too Short was like, Diddy's not talking about it. Biggie's not. He said, I'm gonna talk about something that I know. That's what the hook says.
You talk about Necro, who's the king of death, or let's say Ambassador, the king of theology and Christianity, and then you have, when we're talking about like Too Short, like
that
there's
pimp
no
and player
better
style
person to talk about it than the guy who started it in rapping.
Yeah, he's the originator of it. And the thing is, leaning on his style is like, it's easy, it's accessible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
accessible,
because it's not super, super crazy lyrical, but at the same time, he'll give you the nasty, raunchy stuff, but other songs, he'll give you some real gems. Yeah. He'll throw some
life lessons. Game. Yeah.
Like he's what I call a game spitter. Yeah. Like that's his forte as an MC. He's a true game spitter.
In a sense, kind of like Eric Sermon or EPMD in a sense.
Great example.
Business acumen too.
Great example. He started independently selling a trunk. Yep. He was the father of that. He was the father of the independent rap scene. Him and E40 a couple years later.
Because before the label, let's mention this. Before the label, he had the buzz. He was garnering attention, making money before that.
Yep.
And all he did was just put a machine behind him. It was just crazy. He was everywhere.
He had dropped like 3 albums independently before he even got signed.
That's crazy.
I mean, he really just pioneered, like I said, the independent scene, but also with his style, the influence has gone so far beyond to where, the East Coast can appreciate it, the West Coast, the South, anybody. That's why he's been able to work with artists from everywhere.
Yeah, right.
And being that good, that only makes your impact a lot more immense. That you're with a style that with a style that simple and effective, you're casting a wide net for people to be attracted to that style.
Yeah.
And that actually brings up to my characteristic of him is that his style matches that of Guru from Gangstar, where when I hear Guru rap, it sounds like he's chilling on the couch. The mic is to him, and he's rapping.
Laid back.
Too Short, same situation, just different vocabulary, different message.
Yeah, approach is a little different, subject different.
But with that kind of laid back style, there's no, I essentially feel, and I'm just thinking out loud here, but I'm imagining myself in his shoes, and that there's no threat. There's no threat to be this good, because as long as you feel that you're rapping to the best of his ability, I mean, you're in a position to be successful because that's all you know, and you know what's good because the byproduct of that is you've been selling it out of the trunk of your car for the longest.
Come on.
So you know what works.
Another influence, Cash Money.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
yes.
man, that is
absolutely No Limit. Like he kind of spawned what those movements became for sure. I mean, even just kind of getting back to I think I lost my thought. Shit.
No, it's all right. Well, I mean, so we're thinking about his lyric style as well.
And
sorry, I caught it. So yeah, even like, when Mark was talking about, just being the best of his ability and never being like threatened about, certain styles. He talks about when he did The World Is Filled with Biggie. Yeah. And, he was like Puff, he was kind of new to rapping at the time. That was kind of the first times he had ever rapped. I forgot who wrote the verse, but he did it, and he was like super proud of it, And then, Biggie, we just sitting in the studio, music playing and smoking and drinking, and we just sitting there chilling, and then out the blue, he's just like, all right, I'm ready. We're like, what?
Yeah, and this is the second time I've heard a story similar to that.
He's like, yeah, I'm ready.
Busta Rhymes said a similar story.
I was like, excuse me? He was like, you ain't write nothing? No, I'm ready. He goes in, he raps he rapped like 3 bars, then he kind of messed up. He's like, wait, no, okay, all right, no, sorry, run it back. He said the second take, nailed it. And he was like, that was the first time in my life I ever saw the whole writing without, spitting without writing thing.
Do you think he wrote it beforehand? Like, just had the foreknowledge of that?
I don't think so.
That is so difficult of a thing to do.
The multiple stories, they all say he sits there and just lets the beat play over and over and over. He's like writing it in his head, basically.
That's a layer of genius.
It's tough.
That's hard to accomplish, because it's about you memorizing new bars, the bars that you have previously without anything writing on it.
He was like, he was so impressed by that, but like you said, not threatened by it. He still kept his same Too Short style on that.
Same style.
Didn't switch up, did what he did. Yeah. He's like, look, I write my rhymes right there. But to see Biggie do that, he was super impressed and just blown away by it.
And it brings me to this point that I'm just thought of too. In this show, we always bring up the rapper's name itself. Mm-hmm. And we're actually in a very peculiar situation here where this gentleman isn't called, he's not LL Cool J. He's not a Wordsworth.
Right.
He's Too Short. Mm-hmm. This is a guy that is all confident within himself to just have a name that demeans him.
Low key, yeah.
And he's okay with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he told the story kind of how he came up with it. He was like, I think when he got to high school, he was real short. He said he was like 5'2", 5'3", like real short. He said to the point, he said it wasn't no 2, they just called me short. Like, that was what they called me. Like, can you imagine just walking around all day, everybody just calling you short? He said, but one day he watched, I forget what movie, some blaxploitation 70s movie, and there was a character in the movie named Too Sweet. And he's like, that dude was the dude that got all the girls, and he was smooth, he was this, that, and the third. And he was just like, so he just took the 2 and put it with the short.
Interesting.
So instead of Too Sweet, Too Short. That's how he got the name.
And then, but you see the kind of hurdle that a gentleman has to deal with, where imagine if that name wasn't even brought up by like yourself, someone just like, that's your rap name now, Too Short. Like, damn, that kind of adversity would
it's kind of dope.
It's something you don't want off the jump.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's the reason I think he maybe took it, because he like flipped it on people. Like, You made that my name. That's my mocker now.
Too short.
Yeah.
Not just short, too short.
Yeah.
You know, he grew a little bit. You know, I mean, he's like 5. He's like 5'9" now.
No, see the money under him. He's about 7'10".
Oh, okay. He's still on his money. He's 7 feet tall. I like that.
And then also too, like within his name, like you have the $.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Like,
Piece
I
to
mean,
Mace.
that's just player. Like
player.
he started that. Like that's what I'm saying. Like when you talked about Mace influence.
Yeah.
The first dude to do the $sign in the name was Too Short.
Wanted to mention really one little detail that I picked up from his style. Even though it's a simple flow, it's so memorable. Like we were just playing with a little bit ago. I go on and on, not so long. The flow is very memorable.
Absolutely.
Or just like he has moments like that. The streets of California.
You know who comes to mind when I'm thinking like that, where it's a type of flow you get engaged with.
Yeah.
Young MC's Bust a Move. Is that black, white, Indian, no matter what. There's a whole lot of people that know that.
Everybody
verse
knows
from
that
Bust a
song.
Move.
Yeah.
With Too Short, it's the accessibility of his style to make it easier for people to actually listen in and
Everybody
understand
knows
his
blow the
lyrics
whistle.
and sing along. He's thinking of it on a level where, again, the marketing ties into the marketing, perhaps
And
to where
you couple that with these hard hitting trunk knockers beats like Freaky Tales.
Woo!
yeah,
I don't even have to say more than that. These are the tales that I tell so well. If you don't like it, you could go to hell. Like remember I was,
Mother Goose is like, damn.
Yeah, exactly though. Like that's the thing is like there's like this undertone melody that's happening, that makes it more memorable.
Yeah,
Correct.
That is something that he has, and I think it's overlooked because, and then not to mention, but the subject matter of what he's talking about. I mean, what guy doesn't want to go a place where girls are shaking the booty or like that's happening? Like, let's say the Freaknik. Like, who would not want to be?
Come on now.
You know what I mean? Not saying that I'm like trying to be there, but I'm just saying like, you know what I mean? Like for a good time, like this is what this dude cares about. Not gangster rap, which was so prevalent. Not like, or I'm the baddest. Like, like this dude's rapping about women.
I'm a player. I'm
making
smooth.
money, chilling, being a pimp,
Take your
player,
girl.
driving in his whip. Like it's like kind of like these good things in life that he's kind of
Smooth.
like talking about.
Man.
I mean, you would think it would be pretty obvious, but so many people missed that early on. Where he was just right on it, like boom. Let me talk about that. That's my thing.
Early.
Just we're talking 40 years later.
He's like the Apple.
Yeah.
Of like what Apple did for computers early.
Yeah.
It's what he did for the West Coast and hip hop in general.
He was a
early.
blueprint. He became a blueprint.
Basically, basically. Talking about his album cover now. So we're talking about the 10th album that he released. This one, let me describe it for those who are listening. We have Too Short as the top title, covering from left to right. Underneath that, you have Gettin It, which is the title of the album.
Yeah, the money font.
Parentheses, album number 10. And then behind it, you have an old picture of himself in like kind of like a suit, like a white suit coat, some slacks. He looks young, probably looks like about, I'd say 6.
Well,
7.
since he was short, it's probably just took it.
He might have been like 12.
It looks like this is a what is this, a Mustang?
Yeah, it looks like that's a Mustang.
Yeah.
That's one thing with Too Short albums. Every few albums, you're gonna get a fly car on the album for sure.
Fly car with
He's
a convertible
good
top
for that.
Mustang. Yeah.
He good for that.
And then it's in a hue that's like a orange reddish hue.
Yeah.
Thoughts about the album and the title, Gettin It?
I mean, for me, the color of it just screams sunny.
Yeah.
And it just feels like a Cali breeze dry.
Cali.
I think Cali riding around listening to Gettin It. Like that particular song.
In the car.
It just feel like that song to me embodies the album cover.
Knowing that drop top ain't staying on the top for long.
You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
All right. I just remember like going to my uncle's barbershop in LA and One of the barbers there, she used to play this song a lot. Like this was like one of her go-tos was Gettin It. So every time I hear it, I get those memories.
This is one of my top 5 songs of all time, hip hop wise, is "I'm a Player."
Oh, that's my favorite Too Short song.
Yeah, that's like my top 5 songs of all time.
It's my favorite Too Short song.
Boom, boom.
Yep.
Boom, boom.
That's my
Can we
favorite.
even have a little quick point for the gents out there? Yeah. I think this is important to say too, because throughout our times, as successful men, there's instances where we still have to get it in the terms of the employment sector, the general work sector, and for those people in the street pharmaceutical industry, you definitely have to get it in your own respect as well. But going like that, we do experience the highs and lows, the uncertainties of these things, because in some instances, we go in with this blind ambition with nothing backing it to a certain extent. There's instances that come into play where we actually need songs like Too Shorts, where we need that actual reinforcement of
like a boost
of the lyrics, of us singing the lyrics to ourselves to bump us up.
Self-esteem boost.
Great point.
I would want to mention that to everybody, because this is going to resonate with the men most importantly. But it's Too Short plays an important part with songs like these, and there's
Andrew Tate of rap. I mean,
see, Too Short was escaping the Matrix in the 80s.
He was early.
Early. But yeah, it plays super important. It plays super
Andrew
important.
Tate's like, I listened to Too Short. Yeah,
I really think Too Short's a phenomenal man. But all in all, it's super important to hear songs like that actually give you the boost, because there's times where it's like you don't feel like doing certain things, like you going to work, doing what you need to do,
working out,
doing stuff. But sometimes you need to get that reinforcement. I'm a player. And I'm playing just to play.
That pep in your step.
Not that you do it partakes. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But you just need that little pat on the back. Too Short gives you a nice little pat on the back.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true, man. And I mean, it's somewhat of a negative, but it's just the truth. I mean, we've all had women issues in the past, and for me at least, one of the easy ways to get over it or move on, you throw on some of that classic Too Short. I feel much better.
You're giving away the cheat code, G.
I'm just saying, like, I know it could be hard. It could be depressing. You know what I mean? Getting dumped, getting rejected, whatever. I'm telling you. I'm not saying to be disrespectful, but I'm just saying that release, it is... at least for me, it was healthy in my younger years, I could say.
That's a great point. Yeah. That's a really great point.
For sure. I've always felt that way.
Yeah, I feel like Gettin It is definitely that, because this is his 10th studio album. Yeah. So it's almost like he's giving advice, you better be out there getting it. It reminds me of EPMD, talking about like that business mindset, making sure you're hustling and going out there, and then his whole career story is in itself like a rags to riches kind of deal. Like, he started as a dropout in high school, and just he didn't know which avenue he was going to take. Found rap, took off,
That was it.
So even that in itself is a story or a testimony of like success. And then I like how like the writing of Gettin It almost looks like it's like dollar bill writing.
Yeah, you said money font.
Yeah, like a money font. So that's pretty dope too. Okay, so we're going to move on now to the 3 tracks that we chose for the album. This is a good time to mention that if you're not following us, please, this is the time to subscribe. This is your calling card right now. This is God talking to you. Like,
we're going to play the organs right now. Right now, we're going to do the first offering of That's Hip Hop. You got to keep the roof on in this place.
Portion.
Yeah, this is not funded. This is a nonprofit. Like, we don't get a dime out of doing this, but yet, we put our collective minds together to try to give you a great, rich episode, doing our homework.
Yeah.
And so there's we're broke. We're barely making it.
We're getting it, man.
But we do have the verbal and the sentimental backings of Wordsworth, Master Ace, DCQ, Ayatollah, and Necro for at the start.
Oh yeah, just to mention a few. Yeah.
Peace to Necro. I want to actually, if you're going to clip this, Necro, thanks for, you didn't have to, but we want to thank you for putting in your kind thoughts on when we covered Gory Days for you. And we certainly appreciate it. From one fan of yours to another, we appreciate it.
That's a big thank you
Shout
for
out.
that. Yeah, Necro's like very influential.
I want to say thank you.
I mean, at least for me,
Yeah.
For me getting into hip hop, beats were insane. Like I took a lot from that, from Necro.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go into this portion where we choose 3 songs. We get into the lyrics. Before we get into that, though, I do want to just give a plug. And if you haven't subscribed, please feel free to subscribe and like, share, do all that. But a big plug to Mark. He's running a pin business, and they have a lot of things going on. I just want to just plug that in. Mark, talk a little bit about that.
So the Notorious Pin at thenotoriouspin.com or on Instagram at elnotoriouspin. We have various pins that span pop culture, from video games to classic just classic reimaginings of your favorite things, whether it be the N64 controller or the classic iPod, which is coming soon. Check us out at thenotoriouspin.com or at on Instagram at elnotoriouspin, and add a few pins to the cart. I'll hook it up.
Anything you want to promote, Ali? I know you have a few things.
Absolutely. Got a poetry book, Restoring the Feeling. It's a digital only book. Anywhere you can find books, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes. Go get that digitally. It's my way of penning some bars, if you will, just through poetry. But yeah, go ahead, check that out.
And my only thing is, if there's any artists out there that are gifted with like design, we need help on a logo. We need help on, maybe future merch, but we need a design. We need somebody who's talented and that just is gifted in that area. If one of those people, hit us up either in Instagram DM, or if you want to just leave a comment, we can reach you that way as well. I'll put our email in the description, so that way you have a way of reaching us on that.
Yeah. Beats
as well. That's another one. If you want your beats featured on the show, that's also another good point. We need some beats to rap over, because if we choose beats on the internet, we get copyrighted and struck down. Yeah. So if any beat makers out there, you want to get a shout out from us, submit us.
We'll catch rec over your
an
beat.
email, with the beat, and we'll use it just to freestyle. So, and then we'll record a whole album with it. Just
we'll be getting it.
We'll be getting it. Stupid.
Get it while the getting is good.
So we're choosing Gettin' It. Obviously, that's the first track. That's Why is the second track. And then Nasty Rhymes is our third. We have some honorable mentions that we would like to mention, which is going to be, there's a lot here. Bad Ways. I think Bad Ways is a really catchy hook. There's a lot of help building that song.
So What You're Saying.
Oh, yeah. So What You're Saying. Another good one. Buy You Some, because that one has Eric Sermon on it.
That's a dope one.
I mean, what better person to be like rapping with him? I mean, Eric Sermon and PMD, they have that funk sound, but in the East Coast.
I got to give one quick shout out to Eric Sermon too, because he was one of the first like East Coast producer and MCs that really, really bridged with the West Coast early. He was one of the first ones collaborating with Too Short, DJ Quick, Exhibit. Right. Like, he did it naturally, way before everybody was kind of trying to do it after Pac and Biggie died. Yeah. Eric Sermon was doing that early, and I got to give him that.
That I think that brings up the Eric Sermon counter to what, like 50? Probably. We have like 50 mentions of Eric Sermon. A lot of mentions of
Eric Sermon. Check out that episode, EPMD. It's a dope episode.
He's a favorite of ours, man.
Yeah. Another honorable mention, Never Talk Down. I love the beat on that. Yeah. I think that's a dope beat. MC Breed is on that. Rapping Forte is on that. So those are the ones I just wanted to mention. So the first track we're going to be going into then is going to be Gettin' It. Gettin' It, legendary track, legendary beat. All I know of that beat or that instrumental, from what I hear, is that I guess Parliament went down to the studio. George Clinton and all them.
Just waltzed right in.
Yeah, chilling,
Come
vibing.
On now.
Yeah, just vibing with the whole crew. And then Too Short just said, they came over, and then we came up with Gettin' It.
That's it. Just regular life. So so I'm gonna start with the intro and then the first verse.
All right.
He goes, That's right. Album number 10.
Very legendary intro.
Show Dogs in the House. It's getting close to the end, y'all. But we're going to kick it like this on the last album.
Then the drop.
That beat is so hard.
Yeah, very safe.
So dope. Then he goes, now let me holler at your let me holler at your partner.
The bass line, boom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. The bass line hits hard.
Crazy. Yes, now let me holler at your partner. Spit this game in your ear for a minute. Quit complaining about how you can't spend it. Cause you ain't got it. You got what it takes, but not enough to get started. I hope you get the message. No, it's not a test. It's just me riding legit. You can't arrest me or bust me. I'm still hungry. I want some more stuff. Get fat and watch my whole crew blow up.
Stop right there.
Come on.
See, the hard part is even stopping. Like, I don't even want to stop. I was like, that's how much is flowing. Like, I don't even want to stop that.
Like, that's the thing. Like, it's not some crazy pattern or double, triple stack bars, but it's just smooth. Yeah. Like,
and with complex lyrics like that, the fact is that they're still dope, but we have to stop just to analyze.
Right.
Yeah, with this, is just like, fuck, dude, do we want to?
I don't want to. It's just you just want to ride with it.
I just like that first phrase. Now let me holler at your partner.
Spit this
that
game.
Right
like,
there.
That's him. That's Too Short. If you don't know Too Short, that's it right there.
And then the bass slang. I mean, he's like almost the creator of the bass slang like that. Like, you know,
absolutely.
Spit this game. Spit this game.
Spit this game. Like that's vernacular that was not used before. You know, he put that in rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm still hungry. I want some more stuff. Get fat and watch my whole crew blow up. So get yours and buy my new album. Peep the game and don't be like Calvin. Get everything you want.
Which Calvin was he talking about?
Maybe the Calvin from McDonald's. Remember that Dave?
Oh
Chappelle?
yeah, that's what they mentioned.
Yeah,
that is what they mentioned. Yeah,
Calvin from McDonald's.
The McDonald's
so
commercial.
Remember Chappelle Show did the skit on Whack Arnold's where Calvin got a job and like the whole hood was ragging on him. Even got robbed after he got his check.
What? I don't remember.
Okay, so there's a commercial from McDonald's where they wanted to push the agenda of, hey, look, we're helping out the black community by giving y'all jobs. Mm-hmm. And the fact is, we got Calvin here from the PJ's got a job.
Then he got promoted to manager.
And at the end of the episode, at the end of the commercial, they're like, hey, Calvin, can I get an application? Like,
I've never seen.
They were clowning.
I have no idea.
Yeah, so they're clowning him for working at McDonald's. And then he's like, he keep going to work. He's like, yeah, where's
That's
Calvin?
funny.
He's
that punchline hits harder now.
Yeah, he's like, he's going to work every day. He's going to McDonald's with this and the third. And then he eventually gets promoted to manager. And then at the end of the commercial, they're like, hey, Calvin, you think you can give me an application?
Yeah. So, and then Chappelle Show just takes a whole rip on it too.
And flips it on his head.
That's tight.
He said, peep the game and don't be like Calvin. Get everything you want. Get real. Get your mail. Get your girl to make bail and get your ass out of jail.
Man, that's a down girl to get you out of bail.
Right. You should be getting it. Everything you want. Everything you dreamed of. Never have to front. You should be getting it. Getting money. I'm talking about your black don't laugh. It ain't funny. You should get a good lawyer. Like Johnny Cochran.
Very iconic line too. Get a good lawyer.
Yeah, a little bit before
Johnny Cochran.
Yeah.
Fresh off the OJ trial.
Fresh off the OJ
You know what I mean?
trial.
So it's like, let you know, hey, get a good lawyer, you know.
Oh, yeah, you're right. This is around that time, too.
Fresh off the trial, yep. He said, you should get a good lawyer like Johnny Cochran. Swear to tell the truth. Hell nah, I didn't pop him. Get your kids in school so they can get an education, get a degree, and take a vacation.
So this is the wide net I'm talking about because the Gettin It.
Yeah.
So we already have the end factor. We just need to have the X and the Y. Mm-hmm. So now he's telling you, get money however you want, but he also tells you, hey, get a degree. Right. So the getting of the it could be anything.
Anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the streets.
Get a good job. Get a good lawyer.
Get a good lawyer.
Woman. Get a good
Had it been centered on a little bit of the illicit or drug dealing on one, I'm saying had it been too one-sided, it would have alienated a lot of people.
Correct.
Right. But he opened up that floodgate and
for him to say, get a degree. Like he's telling, look, hey, you go to school, get your grades up.
Good point. Good point.
Like there's nothing wrong with that. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like I love that line. Like it's only that one line, but it's powerful.
Yeah.
Get your kids in school so they can get an education, get a degree, and take a vacation. You see, I got all my game from the streets of California. Young millionaire with no high school diploma. Living real good, taking care of my folks. Roll up a fat one for the players to smoke. Show dogs in the house. I know you ain't tripping, because life is too short. You got to get in where you fit in.
Shout out to his previous
That's
album.
hard. He just mentioned 3 of his last albums. Short dogs in the house, life is too short, and get in where you fit in. That is just that's a nice little Easter egg in there. Like
bars and product
like
placement.
that actually was a dope bar. Like if you
tying it all together full circle, like
it made sense. Like it actually made sense, and he shouting out his previous work.
Yep.
Show dogs in the house. I know you ain't tripping, because life is too short. You got to get in where you fit and stop looking for you want, never seem to find. It ain't what you think. You got to read between the lines, because life ain't long for a young black man trying to make money doing all he can, selling dope. Don't you hope he would go to class, but the boy makes money and he makes it fast, with the 20s on top and the 50s on bottom.
You know, you always got to do that. When you put it in the wallet, put the 20s on top.
A flock of top notches, oh yes, we got them. It's been a long time since I first got down, but I still keep making these funky sounds. Get it while the getting is good. Get it while you can, you should be getting it. Get it while the getting is good. You should be. Come on, man.
I was bumping this on the way home from work, and I was like, yeah, I certainly got it.
I got to get it. I have to get it.
It was secured today.
Love that man.
This is just one of many great hits this dude's made.
I like the fact, too, is like whenever he says player, it's E-R-S, E-R, player.
No, player. Not player.
Interesting.
Player.
Interesting.
Yep, he always says player, E-R.
Interesting. Interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, verse 2, I'll go ahead and take that. I know you're tired of being broke, just hanging out. Got a lot of dreams, but you can't get out. First thing you need to do is set yourself on some goals. Think positive. Everything else is old. And work hard. Never stop hustling, because they just love to see the black man struggling. So what you saying, Todd? It's time to come up. Put your dollar bills in the air. He said, meet me at the White House, and I was there, because I'm the one in the million. Black man rising. They want to keep me down, but I'm always surprising. Spend my money in the hood. I know it's all good, and you should do the same. I told you to peep the game. From Too Short, you know I'm the man. I lend my brother a hand, because I know I can.
See?
That's better than that.
And we're going without him cursing up to this point.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Great point. Yep. And this is in Too Short is known for. Actually, I gotta mention. I have to mention that one strategy he did on a lot of his earlier albums. He said because back then it was about tapes.
Yeah.
So he said typically the first maybe 5-6 songs, he either doesn't curse or minimally curses.
Side A, then.
And then side B, that's where he's dropping all the curses.
That's crazy.
Yep. He said that was a strategy he did back probably up until this album.
That's crazy.
With the tapes.
I also want to mention with Tupac, he rapped with Tupac, and he said that when he rapped with Tupac, Tupac came into the studio, and he's like, okay, this is the beat. He didn't even sit down. He said he didn't even see Tupac sit down. He was just right there, Didn't even stop writing. Kept writing.
With the beat going on.
With the beat going on. Writing. He goes, okay, I'm done. I got it. Went in there, first take, nailed it. He goes, all right, I gotta go.
He's like, what? I got 2 sentences.
And then also the dope thing about that is he said, usually Tupac's known for the gangsta. He goes, he flipped it on some pimp shit.
He came into his world.
Tupac came into his world.
That's one thing Too Short's good at. Most people that collaborate with him, he brings them into his world, and they just flourish.
Yeah. They want to keep me down, but I'm always surprising. Spend my money in the hood. I know it's all good. You should do the same. I told you to peep the game. From Too Short. You know I'm the man. I lend my brother a hand, because I know I can. I keep going and going, but I'm not Pink Bunny. The Energizer Bunny.
Yeah.
Instead of beating on the drum, I never stop thinking money. And think at this time, I mean, we're talking about up to today, this dude is still doing it. Yeah. This was like, I don't know how long, this was in 93?
Almost 20 years ago.
This was 20 years ago.
Actually, I'm sorry, almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It's 96. This is 28 years ago.
I keep going and going. I like that theme that he always brings that back up too.
Going and going, yeah.
Instead of beating on the album, I never stop thinking money. I'm getting all I can. If you don't, you slip. I can't wait to get to heaven and just have a grip. When I was broke, I couldn't afford a meal. But now I'm rich. I could be fake. I got to keep it real. It's been a long time, baby, since I first got down. But I still keep making these funky sounds.
Getting it. Get it while the getting is good. Get it while you can, you should be getting it. Get it while the getting is good. You should be. Come on.
I felt like he could have went longer if he wanted to.
Oh, he wanted to for sure. He could have had a whole nother verse and all of that.
Could have had another 5 minutes to this.
He could have.
Could have. Honorable mention. Oh wait, we don't have one yet. So then we go on to That's Why, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if you guys, if one of you guys know kind of the background story to this, because I don't really know a whole lot.
So basically, this is around the time. So he was it was a kind of a twofold beef, if you will, with the radio station KMEL in Oakland, and also with the rap group The Loonies, who made I Got Five on it. So they, in his crew and that group, were kind of beefing over. Now, as far as what over, I don't really remember, but I know they were beefing. And in them beefing, one song the Loonies made, they had
Player
a line.
Hater.
And in the line, they have a line that says that's why the town got rid of Short, because that's when he moved to Atlanta.
Yeah.
So they threw that line.
They rode that wave of like pushing him out. You know?
So they dissed him, saying that's why the town got rid of Short. So this was his response to that song, and also everything surrounding the situation of him from moving to Atlanta, what was going on, and he pretty much just put everything to bed.
Which was actually kind of a blessing in disguise. And you had mentioned Apple, you know, and I think of Steve Jobs. Remember when he got kicked out of his own company, Apple? He went and started Pixar. And I feel like in this sense, it's like he got kicked out of his own city, Oakland, but he went into Atlanta. Yeah, and like found
a new life.
Found Crunk, found a new life, and then came back. You know what I mean? So it's like it does parallel Steve, like Apple, what you were saying. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, but
he went to Freaknik and he said, he was.
That's it.
I'm back.
I'm staying here. And I also, for clarification, literally maybe soon after this album came out, all those beefs were squashed.
Yeah,
they squashed them like right after this came out.
At Summer Jam or something like that, they didn't want him to show up, but he showed up anyway.
Yep.
With like Rolling Deep with 30 cats.
Yep, actually
they met up the Loonies
beating
in
up
the back.
Dude from the Loonies. Yep.
And I guess they were trying to talk. I guess some guy was trying to be a mediator, and some dude hit him on the back of the head.
They jumped the dude. Yep. Yeah, it got kind of crazy, and this song was kind of like the last mention of it all, and then right after this they squashed everything.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so we're talking about again, That's Why, and quickly I just want to mention some of the producers of this track. That's Why, actually it doesn't even have a mention of that, so we'll just continue into it. Who wants to do the first one?
Yeah, we getting real on this album, y'all. You know, I'm hearing all these rumors here about they ran Short Dog out of East Oakland, moved up to Atlanta, and got no more love in town. I got much love in Oakland, y'all. Y'all know what I'm saying? I've been doing this shit for years. So I'm gonna tell it to you like it just happened.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Because I mean, he's talking about like sex, pimping, all these kind of things. Like for a city, you know, city's perspective, and they're thinking he's the contributor, you know, making things harder or more difficult for stuff like that. What do you guys think about that? Because I feel like he's making it lit and dope, but I mean, maybe
Oakland was called Cokeland before Short even.
Yeah.
So it's just the degeneracy and the crime. They had to tie it to somebody. They had to find their Batman to associate all this stuff with.
Yeah. All he's doing is report. All he's doing is report. That's a great comparison.
You know? Find their Batman.
All he's doing is reporting the news. Don't get mad because it's bad.
Yeah, that's a great comparison.
And then,
you killed my argument with that. Okay, all right.
Moving on.
I don't stop rapping ever since the very first day. I grabbed the microphone, made a funky ass tape. I had 16 hoes sucking 10 toes. Game from the O as any real pimp knows.
How can you suck 10 toes?
With 10 toes.
The math doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it's like having 5 kids with 10 baby mamas.
Right.
Any real pimp knows the only love hoes get is what they get paid for. Give me my scratch. What the fuck I'm gonna stay for? I gotta make moves, bitch. Stack some G's from the hoe stroll to my fax machine. I got money coming in from everywhere, from New York to LA to the motherfucking Bay. It's true.
You know what? Can I stop you here? Because I forgot to mention this in the beginning of this episode. My bad. The reason why we're covering Too Short is because this is episode 69. I don't know how I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
But this is in honor of a legend, Too Short.
Absolutely.
This is why we've actually delayed. We already have 2 episodes loaded already, scheduled ahead of time.
Yeah.
But we're delaying those 2 episodes just so this one can fall into the slot of 69 for his honor. So that's how big of a deal this is and how much we want to honor Too Short. Because it was either this or I was telling the guys Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Oh, no.
No.
That wasn't happening.
Yeah. It was just going to be, it was Isaiah's solo episode on that venture.
Solo episode. Yeah. But you know what I want to say? Quick little sidebar.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this. Kendrick Lamar. I know. It's that already. But Kendrick Lamar, you know, his style, I've noticed him starting to now add in things that are just audible markers, like wop, 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 right? Or boom, boom. I feel like he might be borrowing some stuff from Tekashi 6ix9ine in that sense, because he makes up things sometimes. I don't know what you guys think about that. Do you guys see that?
I don't see a lot of people doing
Can he take away
crazy sound effects like that. Like,
yeah, I mean, the only other person.
Notable
I
and
don't
prominent
know Kendrick
ones.
doing that. Or did Kendrick do that before? I don't know if he's done that before. I don't remember.
To that degree, no. Maybe only the ones I can think of is like maybe 21 Savage, maybe like one for sure, West Side Gun from Griselda for sure.
Yeah.
He's always been big on that. But I mean, you might be on to something as far as that being new to him. Yeah, that's definitely new for him.
Yeah, because even that kind of style of just random everything that's still rooted early in hip hop, because you're thinking about Jamaican dance hall, like people just
right,
like just
like
it
that,
just starts from there.
Yeah.
And it works out great for the concert because like if you were in there live, it was so loud. Wah, wah, wah,
Everybody wanted to yell that
it
for
was
sure.
it was so like you felt energy out of that. Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But just a sidebar. Okay, so we can go back into it.
To my fax machine, I got money coming in from everywhere, from New York to LA to the motherfucking Bay. It's true. I'm the man, G. I'm underground. 106 can't ban me. All on the air saying they can't fuck with me no more. I go back with rap like KPOO. From the very first time I grabbed the mic, smoking burner, ready to fight. I don't promote violence. I'm from Oakland where the real kick it. You might get killed or make a meal ticket. Move down south because the town is wild. Now my radio jocks want to clown my style. I raised too many rappers you support. Let's go rewind that one. I raised too many rappers you support. Ask them who they grew up on.
Too
short.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck all that blackball shit. It won't last. KMEL. Y'all can kiss my ass.
Simple, but hits. Direct hits. And because after this, what did KMEL do? Bring him back in. They felt the pressure.
Kiss the ring real quick.
Yep, they had to squash it because it was starting to get real. Too Short really just reported everything in this situation. That's what I loved about this song. It was a different mode from Too Short. Like, it's not really a diss song. It's just him recapping a situation.
Laying
really,
the facts down.
Right, that's it. He just breaking it all down, telling the story. Like, it's classic Short, but in a different vibe. He was like, it all started back when C and H went to TB trying to play your hate. I flipped a brand new Lexus 93. Joe the Balls cut me up, said you're lying to me. He said, I heard you got the cash and split it. If I don't get my cut, you motherfuckers gonna get it. It was 13 G's all mine. Didn't give Ted and Rand one dime. Now listen real close because it might be hard to follow. Chris told Ned it was $50,000. Shit sound petty, and it is, but that's how it goes when you in showbiz. Gets falling out, should be making millions. Instead of studios, we seeing lawyers in buildings. Then we stop speaking. Shit got funky. I don't give a fuck, motherfucker. Get my money. I ain't never been a hoe. You can't pimp me. I do all the work while you pimp me. I tried to buy them out, but right about then they let the lines out. You start eating that shit up. You should have never listened. I'm always been on this money making mission. Sold a car and a trunk in Oakland for the Lex. Jack loaned me 5, and I was rolling that bitch. He's just breaking it all down.
Yeah, breaking it all down, giving exactly the facts of it all. And just, again, just showing again how, how business savvy he is, and he's about his money, and he's not going to let
it. Ain't going to pimp me.
Yeah, you ain't going to pimp me. Exactly.
Made it clear.
Exactly.
And this is in the 90s where a lot of bad deals was getting handed out, but Too Short said, not me.
Nope.
You
Very smart from the beginning.
From the jump.
Yeah.
Now verse 3 is where he really starts to break it down.
Yeah, because I wanted to even say, like, even when he was with, what was the label? It was like a small company. Not even, I don't know if it was a company, but a small label, 5 girls or something.
Yeah, 55 girls, something like that.
Yeah,
something like that.
But, eventually it started going a little sour. He had to make some moves.
Yep, get up out of there.
And, I love that about him is that he's savvy enough to know when he got to go.
Absolutely. Ooh, bars.
Verse 3. I went to the Freaknik. Shit turned me out. Legendary
Freaknik in Atlanta.
What would you call that? That was just like was that like a...
It started as like a HBCU kind of spring break party.
Yeah.
And then it just morphed into this huge, people were coming from all over the country to just be in Atlanta, and sometimes they had
I wanted to say almost like a block party.
Yeah,
but it's just like it was bigger than that.
It was huge. It was like a block party / picnic / festival,
Woodstock,
everything. Like it was just, it morphed into this thing almost too much to handle.
He was just saying though that there was just like ass everywhere.
Yeah,
like just
one big party
just out there like bathing suits.
Crazy. They said the peak of it was like I think like 91 to like 94, 95.
There's documentary.
Yeah, the documentary just came out.
To
people surprised that there's gonna be a lot of grandmas,
mamas and aunties and grandmamas up in there.
Yeah, this is where it all started for you.
This is when you got made.
I went to the Freaknik. Shit turned me out. Came back to Jack the Rapper. Bought me in the house. Bought me a house. Let me start again. I went to the Freaknik. Shit turned me out. Came back to Jack the Rapper. Bought me a house. That was August 93. Time to dip. I had warrants in my town, and I was hot as shit. Every time I got stopped, went to jail. Treat me bad because I was hanging with criminals. I wanted to buy me a house in Oakland Hills. Nice little something to $500,000. That was right around the corner. The time Chris hooked Drew down. The loonies came through at them tricks, got clowned. Rapping Ron tore him up on a freestyle tip. Ain't ran nobody out shit. Then they put it in. Then they put it on the town. Shit got real. When you was in the 4th grade, I had a record deal. Probably facts. That was probably facts.
When you was in elementary school, I had a deal.
Yeah, so he's talking about the loonies came over. They basically got ripped in a freestyle, felt some kind of way, and he's saying like that's why they were like dissing him. You got one hit record, now you ballin'. You make one fake album, you'll be falling. And the shit don't apply to me, present or past. You can meet me at the mall and get my autograph. Or you can flash back. If you can do all that, me, Fred Benz, and Freddie Craps, smoking burner upstairs in Hot Lips' house. It's been 50 years and I ain't played out.
Nope.
15 years and I ain't played out.
Still here.
They playing Too Short, stepping on the Chevy pedal. Back in the days, K-Mel played heavy metal, not even hip-hop.
I wasn't even playing rap. I'm the reason y'all started playing hip-hop.
All of a sudden, you want to kick me out.
Yep. He had to let that be known. Yep.
Verse 4. Who wants to take that one?
I'll do it. You're shooting at the studio late at night. Seen a Cherokee, started shooting the Spice at the E40 picnic out in the park. Just gathered around for some shit to start. They had bullets with my name, but we never got to meet. Yeah, I tried to, but nope, I ain't get shot. See me sucker motherfuckers shooting at the street. It was me, Boo, Howard, and Jock. A full clip, one in the chamber, and it blocking TB. Still trying to be my pimp. I could lose my life or give my money to him. I'd rather die before you use me. I tried to buy him out, the nigga sued me. And that's where it stands right now, y'all.
Yeah.
For your motherfuckers that don't know, like the Notorious say, if you don't know, now you know. Biatch. That was it.
That's like his signature.
That's it. Had to let that be known.
Yeah. Yeah. So that track is dope for a lot of different reasons. Also, the beat's hard hitting, catchy. And then, this is a little bit different because he's actually telling a story here of just like, this short period in time where they kind of had this falling out between Oakland himself, the radio, and Looney's, which is very interesting. Then we move on to the third track, but I want to give some honorable mentions. Bad Ways, another very catchy beat, catchy melody. There was a lot of people who worked on that song as far as putting it together. Remember, the beats are like a live band, which is dope, I think leading up to this, the last like 6 albums or so were like live band.
Oh yeah. Them all, like a lot of times they would replay the samples.
Dangerous Crew, right? Yeah. So that's even sick. Fuck My Car was also a funny kind of play on the song. Like the bitch likes me so much she wants to fuck my car. Like she likes the car instead of me. Like that's how dope my car is.
Genius.
Like, and then you're talking about Take My Bitch. Yeah, you can take my bitch, but she's trained by me basically. Like I trained her. So that was dope. Buy You Some with Eric Sermon. That was a dope collab. Something we wanted to see and hear. And he said once he like mentioned his retirement, everybody hit him up. Like, hey, feature on my track. Ice Cube was at his door the next day.
Yep.
You ain't going nowhere. You're on my track.
You gonna get on my album, bro.
That's pretty cool. Then we land to Pimp Me, which is dope because again we were just talking about it. You're not gonna pimp me.
No.
I'm the pimp.
I'm the player. I'm the pimp.
Baby D, which he has the youngest of the crew, rapping, spitting on there like a young little Bow Wow almost. Like that was dope. Nasty Rhymes is where we land. Nasty Rhymes, why did you choose this track, Ali?
I chose this because the other 2 songs kind of show, kind of a growth and a versatility in Too Short.
True.
Nasty Rhymes, this is what Too Short is known for.
Yeah, because what are some big songs? What was that one you mentioned before, Mark? The
Blowjob Betty.
Yeah,
Blowjob Betty. Right? That's a big one.
Ain't Nothing Like Pimpin'.
Right.
I'm a Player. Cocktails.
Like, another big one.
That's if you want to know like what's basic Too Short, this is basic Too Short. But this one in particular, it's the nasty stuff and the freaky stuff and all of that, but he's explaining himself a little bit. That's what makes this one a little bit different from the usual, quintessential Too Short records, if you will.
And what's interesting is like, when we talk about like kind of raunchy lines or, lyrics, what's interesting is like we see the movement currently, the women rappers and how they're starting similarly to Too Short.
Yep.
But a female perspective, which is also interesting when you think about it.
But he fathered it all.
Yeah. So even that, you could say he fathered that as well. Very interesting.
Absolutely.
So we go to Too Short. Too Short, why you say those nasty words? So it's like the women asking him, why are you like this?
Yeah.
Too Short, why you say those nasty rhymes? How come you be dissing all us girls? Too Short, why you say those nasty words? It's like this, bitch.
Here we
go. Verse 1. See, I hit the studio 10 years ago, screaming out cuss words like fuck you, ho.
Out the gate.
Coming from East Oakland, went nationwide. I'm on my 10th album, bitch, and I still ain't died. Wouldn't change for nothing. Getting paid to kick it. You could rap your whole life and wouldn't make a meal ticket. Don't stop rapping. Let the hoes keep hoeing. As long as I'm alive, I'ma keep on rolling. Can't do nothing for a bitch while she bleed. You can't put on that fat bag of weed and get high. Fuck these hoes. I'll be singing nasty rhymes
even when I'm old. He told the
spoiler.
Yeah.
He's almost 60.
He's already telling you.
He's almost 60, still doing it.
Can you imagine that though? We haven't seen that quite yet. Like someone like legit.
It's like
old,
65 and
wrinkly.
spitting that. Like
We haven't seen
he's like 58. He getting there.
We have not seen that yet.
Yep.
That would be so interesting to see.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah. So I'll be singing nasty rhymes until I'm old, because I don't stop rapping. Bank keeps stacking. Wherever there's hoes, best believe I'm macking. Yeah, the Mac. Yeah, truly the original Mac, man.
In hip hop, it's him.
The original. All you MCs trying to take my place, yelling biatch, just to hear the people say. Man, dude, it's so legendary.
It's legendary, man.
Yeah. Verse 2.
Go ahead, Mark.
I talk bad about a bitch. It ain't that hard. Never got the big head. Still the same old Todd. In every household, know my name. Hoes love the way I kick that game from 1980 to from 1980 to 96.
Yeah.
I'm still making hits. Hoes riding the dick. My crew is thick, and we pause. And we dangerous. You lick dick, bitch. You still want to hang with us? You better never talk down on a player. I'm Shorty the pimp. I got hoes everywhere. I got cash quick, you little fast bitch. I'll take you to my house and get my ass licked.
Whoa.
Hey, yo.
Pause.
You say, hey, too short. Why you rap so nasty? I look at you in the face and say, bitch, don't ask me. Nothing. They'll never take my place. I'm yelling, biatch, just to hear the people say.
And you know, one aspect to this, because I've heard interviews asking them, why the pimp thing? Like, why not the gangster route? How come what led you to that? And he was talking about it. He was saying, well, all the artists that I looked up to or listened to or thought that were cool or dope or bad, were in some pimp shit. Like, he goes, look at the Isley Brothers cover album. Mm-hmm. What are they dressed as? Like pimps.
Suits.
Like pimps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even rooted in, we even mentioned earlier, the blaxploitation movies.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone, Dolomite, Shaft.
Right. Goldstone, when you look at their album covers, like, that's what they're dressed as. And he thought they were the flyest guys. Mm-hmm. So, like, it just gives you a little understanding of why he chose that lane. Because those are like they say, pimping ain't easy. It's not an easy thing to do.
It certainly isn't, Isaiah.
Those are his heroes, man.
Verse 3. Go ahead.
Yes. See, I got a gang of homies that I put on deck. I make the shit that you bump when you in the projects. You can check my file and it won't find a flaw. You can ask these bitches, am I really raw? Like Captain Foul, I cuss you out while I spit in your mouth. So bitch, don't ask me how. Too short, fucked it up, came back again, ho. Smoking them big fat sacks of endo. I make a new album every year. My speaker's so loud I can barely hear. I got a bad bitch with some big old breasts. I like to play with the titties, lay my dick on the chest. Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mighty vulgar.
So unfiltered, man.
Like just raw with it.
And sometimes those are the taboo things that people like, kind of want to express and just don't.
Yeah.
Like when we think about it, we see people in everyday life, sometimes they'll be like really professional, but sometimes they're freaking as sheets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's that side to women, to men. There's that side.
Yep.
And all he is doing is just uncovering it. Like, this is what it is.
This is what this is how everybody got here. Yeah. This is what people are doing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And start stroking. That's how it should be. I'm busting nuts everywhere but in her pussy. And if sometimes things don't go my way, I say biatch just to hear the people say.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also interesting. I don't know. Do you guys know if does he have kids right now?
He has one.
He
was like 52.
Wow.
Yeah, he had no kids till
I don't know if that was part of his game plan.
I don't think he was planning that.
It might have been.
But yeah, he didn't have any kids till recently.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he had his first child at like 52.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
He's getting it.
He's chasing.
Even when he was getting his old.
He's chasing a 7-year-old right now.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, that is mad crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other verses on this?
No, that's it.
That was it. Yeah, that's mad crazy. Yeah, Too Short, man. I'm glad that we're covering them. I think that was one of the challenges that, like, when we thought about doing the show, it's like, how do we cover you know, how do we cover MCs that are, you know, not looking to be covered really, and then per se, like there's nothing like deep to pull out here, like metaphors and all this crazy entendres.
Yeah.
So that was one aspect that was like kind of challenging. Like, how do we really kind of dissect something that's not really dissectable? You know what I mean? But there still is.
Yeah. You can find something.
Yeah, there still is.
Encyclopedias cover chocolate bars.
Yeah.
Come on now.
You know, encyclopedias cover it all. We have to. It's our it's the mission.
Right. But I'm so like glad that we are, because this dude is a legend. Like I said, somebody who like deserves, you know, so much, deserves his flowers. You know what I mean? Definitely one of those guys. Been doing it for so long, and it's like almost a running joke at this point.
Yeah.
You know, just on how long this guy's going to go.
He's going to rap till he passes away.
So iconic.
No time soon.
So ironic to his name, even just like Too Short. Like this going so long.
Yeah, Too Short, longest career.
The longest rap career is by Too Short. Yeah. Unbelievable. It's really remarkable, man. And the thing is, like you said, I'm glad we covered this album too, because one, it just shows our range.
Yeah.
And, you know, that we can cover, you know, anything in hip hop.
Yeah, we just covered Christology.
You know what I mean? Like we can go everywhere in this rap thing. So that's one of the main reasons. But also, I mean, again, giving him his flowers, but even thinking about somebody like, okay, you wouldn't put a direct correlation from somebody like Too Short to somebody like Eminem.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Eminem especially in his youth, extremely vulgar.
Right. They could find the common ground.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Extremely vulgar, crazy language, all of that. Where's the link? Who was doing that first? Too Short.
Too Short.
You know what I'm saying?
All kind of comes back to Too Short.
You can find a link to Too Short to almost any rapper that's good.
The Kevin Bacon of hip hop.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Everything just kind of
6 degrees of separation.
Isn't there a joke about that somewhere where like somebody was in space and they ran into Kevin Bacon or some? I don't know, something like that though.
It wouldn't shock me.
Some joke like
Kevin
that.
Bacon was at the Knicks game, so that's my 6 degrees of separation from him.
Okay,
He was at the Knicks Laker game in December.
Oh, okay.
So now that's hip hop is associated with Kevin Bacon, dude.
Go Lakers. Anyways.
There you go.
We just got Bronny. What's up?
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lonzo Ball, and that didn't go so well.
Well, watch him not get playing time when he doesn't pass it to his daddy in the fourth.
Get traded.
Calls him off for ISO.
Gets traded by his dad.
Gets traded by his dad.
Sorry,
Oh,
son.
yeah.
It has to be
That's
done.
business.
That would be all bad.
Like Abraham sacrificing his son.
Oh, man. We're going to the Hornets.
You're going to the Shanghai Sharks.
Some random team, the Pelicans. Anyways, so takeaways. Sorry, guys. We just had to go on that little tangent.
Sorry.
So takeaways from this album, from Too Short. What can we really pull away from this?
For his last album, this was the greatest effort you could do, and we never heard from Too Short again. No, I mean this album in particular provides you the a little timestamp of when people are actually extremely influenced to him in the later year. Well, can bring a credit to being inspired by him in the later years, and I mean the early 2000s. So this is a prequel of sorts to what's going to be going forward for the new life with him in the crunk era.
Yeah,
just another resurgence.
Crazy.
It's insane, because if you look at him like a flow chart, there's a brief valley from around here to the 2000s, and from the 2000s just GameStop stock just
gone. Features, great albums, big records. I mean, he just really took off even further.
And even that valley is the peak to a lot of rappers in this era anyway.
Sure.
You know, the valley that I'm talking about for his time, no, people don't even get to that valley.
Seriously.
As a peak.
Yeah, exactly.
No, seriously. And even like, that's all, like with Too Short, everything he did was calculated. Everything he did had purpose. Again, like I said, his first album was called Don't Stop Rapping. That's literally what he's done in his career. This album, Gettin It, was while it was supposed to be the last one. When he decided to come back, what did he call the album? Can't Stay Away. Like everything he's done has been purposeful. So despite the content, despite what people may think about him as far as his rap style, the dude is smart. Business wise, He's smart marketing wise. He's even smart how he puts his songs together and who he decides to collab with. He don't just work. I mean, he's worked with a lot of people, but he doesn't just work with people just for the sake of working with people. Like it's gotta make sense. Every collab he's done has made sense, and his career. One, it should be, like I said, he is a blueprint in rap if you want to last a long time.
Yeah.
And his career should be celebrated merely for it lasting as long as it did. I mean, like I said, we're talking 40 years.
And currently in this period, that's what we talk about. When we talk about greatness, the big aspect that we've added to that is the longevity. How long have they been doing it? And Too Short's one of those guys that has been doing it for a very long time.
He's the staple.
In terms, this isn't. If we're going to put it in basketball terms, this is like the longevity of LeBron James, where you're
Seriously.
actually putting incredible numbers, not just 20 years Robert Parrish
or like a Vince Carter. You're putting up numbers.
Yeah.
Giving you 25, 7, and 7 in year 22. Like, come on.
But peace to Vince Carter, one of the best dunkers.
And Robert Parrish too. But even at this point, you're talking about a gentleman that's hit platinum multiple times and then has gold in the back pocket
as well.
So we can spin it however we want to spin it and talk about the legacy and the cultural significance of Too Short up to this point. Yeah. But I still believe that Homeboy was just getting started for that, because that second resurgence. You can honestly, dude, this guy's had 2 different careers.
Yeah. You could have had nothing before that and just started off of that.
Oh, yeah.
You can go
dude,
from his debut
that's a what if.
Yeah,
that's
real.
Cool.
That's crazy. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, peace to this album. This album is definitely legendary, but this isn't the only album. He has so many other legendary tracks, legendary albums.
We'll have to do a separate show called That's Too Short.
Yeah, exactly.
Trust me, we'll circle back around to another one.
Yeah, we're going to be circling back to him.
We'll get another one at some point.
Might even catch a feature from somebody. I think Jay-Z featured him on one of his albums for sure. Mm-hmm. So check out this album. We recommend it. Definitely, man, a knocker. It's a dope album. Yeah. Very dope album. Well put together. Plus, this was the last album with the Dangerous Crew. Mm-hmm. So that's also something to note. And it's one of Too Short's favorite albums. He's claimed this is one of his favorite projects he liked putting together. Mm-hmm. So check out this album.
Yep.
And then, of course, follow us, share. We're at, I want to say, 542?
542.
Yeah, 542 subscribers on YouTube.
Thank you.
And then, thank you guys. I think TikTok probably like 2,500 or something like that. Instagram about 1,300. So, if you guys have Instagram, you guys have TikTok, find us at That's Hip Hop. Yep. That's Hip Hop. I think that's it. That's .hip hop.
Yeah.
With exclamation point. So find us there. And then of course YouTube or share, or if there's an artist that you like or you want us to cover, mention in the comments. We read the comments pretty often. So some of them are pretty funny. Some of them are just downright nasty and mean, which is like just.
We welcome those too.
Yeah. We'll take any type of criticism.
All engagement, we'll take it.
Yeah. And then we'll be sure to listen and to respond to your hip hop podcast episode.
There's some that swear we're Drake Glazers.
Yeah, well, not gatekeepers, but we can't. What is the world doesn't need more people talking about Ghostface and Raekwon to describing their styles.
Somebody say that.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, there's a lot of opinions out there.
We're not hip hop enough, or we're too hip hop. It's just
Mark's white.
Yeah, I'm white.
That was the funniest one to me. Who's this white boy?
Yeah.
But anyways, comment. We are very passionate about what we do. We really do love hip hop from the core of our soul. And so not only that, but we also practice freestyling. I'm working on an album currently. That's my detox, I guess. But it's something that we love doing. We've always been about that for so long, and we want to just give these artists their flowers. And so if you have beats, if you want to be a part of this, hit us up. And it's that easy. Get it now while the getting is good.
Yeah, you guys gotta get the rookie card now.
Yeah, get it
after this year. Price ain't coming down.
Don't be a bitch.
Yeah, consider where you're getting your hip hop podcast from. If you're a hip hop podcast host, don't freestyle at the end of every 5 episodes.
You got to think about it.
You got to think about that. That's like a degree that we have.
Think about that.
That's a degree that we have here in our pocket that we're able to do.
Yeah, that's our license that we could pull out.
Yeah,
that we freestyle.
We actually freestyle.
All right, Mark, hit him with it, man.
To the MCs, make sure you getting it. Getting while the getting is good. And then if you drop a mic, you better drop a like. Drop a like, sub, and share. And hit the notification bell.
You should be getting it. Subscribe to our channel.
Hitting that sub.
If you don't like it, then you better try to battle.
If you don't get that sub, you owe us a dub.
Yeah.
Don't be like Calvin.
Yeah, don't be like Calvin.